have 10 minutes, so I need to move along fast. Yes, Sunridge has been operating in Eritrea for the last 7 years or so. We've had a lot of success in our exploration. We have a lot of metal in the ground. I'm sure you'll hear the expression undervalued stock a lot today. And certainly Sunridge is one of those, and this is a whole new exercise in undervaluation, I believe. So what we call the Asmara Project in Eritrea has 4 deposits, and 3 of them have an accumulation of 1.28 billion pounds, that's with a B, billion pounds of copper, twice as much zinc, over 1 million ounces of gold, and 32 million ounces of silver. All in the measured and indicated category. So for those of you who know that, I mean, that's very well drilled. It's not just arm waving over a lot of low-grade material. And we believe that 80 or 90% of those pounds and ounces will be economic. This is medium grade to high grade to super high grade, which I'll get into in a little bit. So in terms of copper in particular, and zinc and gold and silver, we have a pointer. We are very proud of the amount of metal we have in the ground, and for a junior company, this is quite enormous. We have a lot of exploration potential still on the property, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We are well funded. We've got $14 million currently in the treasury. And one of the big things for us is Nefas, another junior company here, is now in production in Eritrea, the first modern mine to be put into production on time, on schedule, a market cap of about $1.3 billion at the moment. We have a market cap of something like 60 million, so we think we're on track to be the next Nefas. Eritrea, it's northeast Africa on the Red Sea. Our properties are all around the capital city of Asmara, which you can't see here. All around the capital city of Asmara, the red here. Nefas Bisha property is out here in the western desert, and Zara Gold Project up here. One of the big things we obviously have going for us here is infrastructure. We're on paved roads. We're half an hour from anywhere from the capital city. Railroad, water, power, everything is right there. It's very easy, and just a 120-kilometer drive to the port of Massawa, an active port. So we've got 3 main focuses on the Asmara project. The Debawa project in the south here is our main number 1 focus. It's not our largest deposit, but it's our highest grade. And so for a small company to be in production, this is an obvious first target. We're in feasibility study at the moment. We're approaching about 60% of completion of the feasibility study, be completed at the end of this year. To the north, we have an accumulation of 3 properties. Our big Emba Derho deposit that accounts for something like 80% of our resources. This is where the big long-term value lies for Sunridge to the north. Emba Derho, Nefas and Gupo, I'll talk about all those in a minute, but cumulatively they have an enormous amount of metal in them. A pre-feasibility study was started earlier this year and will be finished in the first quarter of next year. And the exploration areas. This is a map showing our exploration ground, and I should say here's the capital city of Asmara. It's about 50 kilometers from top to bottom here, so you can see they're all within close proximity of the city. So Debarwa, this we believe is a unique opportunity for fast track into production from what we call the direct shipping ore zone, a very high grade copper zone containing both silver and gold for a very low capital cost. Feasibility study started, as we said, at the end of, will be complete by the end of this year. And we expect to apply for a mining license soon thereafter. Debawa, not a huge deposit, but listen to this. It has 200 million pounds of copper, 180,000 ounces of gold, close to 3 million ounces of silver, and 74 million pounds of zinc, all in the measured and indicated category, so very well drilled. Within that, there's a high-grade zone, so that's why it's called medium grade. The supergene zone contains 158 million pounds of that copper, an average grade of over 5%, 5.15% copper, in the measured indicated. The super high grade is this direct shipping ore zone containing 41 million pounds of that, containing 16% copper. That has a value of $1,500, $1,600 per ton. That's a huge value. Also has gold and silver. And we have a surface, right at surface gold cap that contains about 83,000 ounces of gold at an average grade of 8.38 grams per ton. So you can see for Sunridge, a small company, this is ideal to bring into production as soon as possible. This is a long section of Debarwa that shows the lay of the land. In a nutshell, the top oxide gold cap, the yellow here, contains about 80,000 ounces of gold at a grade of 2.38. Beneath that is where the copper has been concentrated in the supergene zone, 1.3 million tons at a grade of 5.15% copper. And within that is the DSO zone, 117,000 tons to over 16% copper. And then beneath that is what we call the primary zone, the unaltered zone where long-term mining would occur in here. So the Debawa feasibility study started last November. It'll be finished in December this year. It's been done by Senate, which is a company with a lot of experience in Eritrea, and will apply for the mining license soon thereafter. You'll see from this slide there's actually some old workings there, head frame, 2 levels of development, on a paved road, on power, near water. So it's about as easy as it gets to bring into production. Now, turning to the north, this is where, as I said before, Sunridge's main assets are. The very large, world-class, 62 million ton Emba Derho deposit containing almost 1 billion pounds of copper and almost 2 billion pounds of zinc and 540,000 ounces of gold and 20 million ounces of silver. Almost next door, about 6 kilometers away, there's a very high-grade but small deposit called the Nefas deposit. There it runs almost 8.5% zinc, 3 grams gold, and some nice copper values as well. That is being combined with Emba Derho as a sweetener in the pre-feasibility study, as well as Gupo Gold, which is just down the road again, 189,000 tons of inferred resources that we're drilling at the moment at an average grade of about 3 grams per ton. All of that we call the Asmara North Deposits. That is in pre-feasibility study that'll be finished early next year. Because we're relatively close to the main city, people think we're moving houses and churches. We are not. This is a shot of the Emba Derho deposit. You can see it's third-rate goat pasture. There is not a shopping mall on the other side of the hill that somebody suggested. This is a very easy mining territory, about a 3-to-1 strip ratio. Again, it's about as easy as it gets. Next slide. The pre-feasibility study is being conducted by Snowden and GBM. It'll look at the Asmara North Project, including Emba Derho, Nefas, Emba Derho Gold Cap, which is excluded in the previous scoping study, and Gupo Gold. They also will be looking at a trade-off study to include the Debawa deposit to the south as one operation. We combine them all in one centralized operation near Emba Derho, which is the center of gravity for these deposits. We expect to have a full bankable feasibility study by the first quarter of 2012. You know, we were a year ago an exploration company with aspirations of production, but in the last year we have raised $26.5 million. We have hired an engineering group. We have leapfrogged our way into production. As I say, following on the coattails of Nefas and the Bisha project. And so that's what we talk about mostly, but it's easy to forget that we're in a whole VMS district. And we have a commitment to the government to continue exploration on this ground, which we will do later this year and early next year. And we have some very appealing targets that we will be reporting on over the next few months. In particular, this Adirasi target, where before we've got one drill hole that had 84 meters at 1.32 grams per ton gold and 0.84 copper. We think this could be a significant deposit to affect the dynamics of Sunridge in the future. Management, I won't go through this in excruciating detail, but just to say that we have more experience in Eritrea than any other company, and 5 of us, not including me, used to work for Nefas a long time ago. So we've all had, over the last decade, a lot of experience in Eritrea. We love the place. We think it's a fine place to be exploring and developing a mine, and I think, again, Nefas has proven that over the last few years. Just of note, you'll see that we have two directors from Lundin Mining, who at one time was our largest shareholder. Is still a pretty significant shareholder. Quick capital structure. We have 117 million shares out at the moment. Current cash about 14 million. We have a fully diluted, we have what I wanted to say is market cap of about $60 million at the moment, which is a little pathetic, but then, you know, this market, I think we've been hit like everybody else, but, you know, we are on the track to show the value of these deposits we have in the feasibility study completed later this year. So just to summarize, we have a lot of metal in the ground. We are leapfrogging towards production. The feasibility study will be on Debawa will be finished by the end of this year, focusing on direct shipping copper ore, 16% copper ore. The northern deposits of pre-feasibility study will be finished in the first quarter of 2012. And again, we expect that to be positive and move it forward into a feasibility study. We have lots of exploration news yet to come later this year and early next year. We also have another project in Madagascar that I haven't had time to talk about, but we're expecting results from that anytime. We have over 35 joint years of experience in Eritrea, so we know the country very well. We have excellent infrastructure, and we're well funded with $14 million. I think that's about wraps it up. So we have a booth outside. Greg Davis and I will be happy to answer any questions this afternoon. Thank you very much.